You are listening to an all-new episode of the Model Experience podcast, live from the Model House.
The Model Experience is the #1 resource for models. Real models, real stories, real resources.
Visit themodelexperience.net to learn more and be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Model Experience.
Welcome to the Model Experience podcast. It's your girl, Real Summers, coming to you live from the Model House, and I'm here with my co-hosts. First of all, we have actress and super producer,
Super producer.
Our very own big sis, Lamaya. Good.
All my credit, boo.
And then straight ahead from me, you can't see her, but she's absolutely stunning. My co-author of Posing 101 and the CEO of the Model Experience, Miss Ashley Runway.
We're so excited for today's podcast. Initially, we started this podcast because in the modeling and entertainment industry, overall, it's just tough.
Yeah.
It's rough out there. Casting to casting, check to check,
audition
to audition. There's a lot of struggle in this business. So we wanted to put kind of a resource together for the models to listen and kind of put their roadmap together. Mm-hmm. And really, when you're putting your roadmap together or you're taking advice, it should be from people that are actually doing it or experts.
Doing it, yes.
So that's kind of the purpose of this show. And
I mean, we really just wanted to start this as a resource for actors and models.
Exactly, and we're doing a damn good job, might I add. Okay, according to the reviews and everybody chiming in. No, for real though, a lot of the stuff that I'm reading is that people are actually taking away stuff from these experts and using it, and it's kind of paving the way for them or really giving them a lot of direction. So I'm really excited about the feedback that we're getting back from this.
yes, and we've had some really good guests come on so far. Don Benjamin, Sean Ross,
Datari Turner,
Nikki Howard.
the list goes on. But today's guest is extra special to us. She's currently in 2 blockbuster hits in theaters now. No pressure. The Intruder, which is with Dennis Quaid and Michael Ealy, and one of my favorites, Shazam.
And not only is she in the movies and she's a movie star, but she is a philanthropist. She's also a director. We added that to the resume. She's a director. And she's just an all-around motivating, inspiring woman, and I'm proud to call her my sister, Miss Meagan Good.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you. And before we get started, I know I just thanked you, but I want to thank you again, just because you've been such a big supporter of the movement, and you coming to the shows is more than just like, oh, a celebrity is here. It's really like you've expressed some interest into them, and I feel like it gives like the models that are on board like some light, like, oh my God, like look at who might see me, or you know, like what the opportunity could be. So
and just that positive energy that you give out. It's really important that they feel supported.
No, yeah, I think that's important. Like at the end of the day, I think no matter what we're, blessed to be able to do for a living, it really is about giving back to each other. That's the one thing, one purpose that we all have in common and that we all share. And it really is about giving back to, the generation behind us and even our generation who's just starting out or whatever. So for me, it gives me a lot of like joy to show up and be a part and to support and to, let people know.
She likes it.
Yeah. And it's fun. The show's fun.
yeah.
And most of you know that a lot of the people that we work with are brand new talent, people who are just trying to break into the industry. And so with that being said, we know that there's usually a lot of adversity. And so, I don't know, we wanted to know what are some of the things that you had to go through to get to this point.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things along the way. One of the first kind of things, starting out as a kid, as you know, is that we grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood where there was a lot of racism and a lot of people who didn't believe in us and told us that the things we wanted to accomplish weren't realistic for us and to think or dream in a different way that was a little more obtainable.
Like think smaller.
Basically.
Or what's your plan B? Which I think it's smart to have a plan B. However, I think if you have a plan B, you most likely end up with a plan B. And
Yeah.
so, and then, along the way, it was just, getting into the business and struggling with just getting a job, getting an opportunity. And then you get a job, and then it's like, but I'm capable of so much more. Like, I really want to do something in this space or that space. And knowing that it was going to take patience, it was going to take perseverance, it takes doing the work, and just really believing God that if that's like the dream and desire that He's put in your heart, then He'll bring it full circle. And so, and then it was like, just in the industry, hearing a lot of times that they're not going to hire a black girl to play the lead,
Right.
or racism within the industry, just all kinds of different
breaking
stuff.
those stereotypes.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to know you're gonna face some
Yeah.
adversity along the journey.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of
It's like
just,
you took a leap of faith in yourself almost.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and a leap of faith in God. It's just, I think I'm a true believer that if you want to do something, you should talk to God about it first. And then when you do talk to Him, when He gives you that peace in your heart that you're doing the right thing, you're absolutely unstoppable. There's
sure.
nothing that no one can say or do.
There
There's
are no
no
limits. Yeah.
doors that get shut in your face or people who don't believe in you along the way. When you believe what you know in your heart is right, you just keep trucking along and you'll get there.
So that's almost a starting point. Maybe start there with that mental and
Yeah.
understanding
Yeah.
what you're supposed to
Because
be
I
doing.
think it has to be bigger than just, I want to model, or I want to act, or I want to do this, I want to do that. It's like, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to put
Right.
into the world? Who do you want to be? And when you start from that place, then however you artistically express it and whatever you pursue is a part of something deeper and bigger than yourself. And that's the thing that helps you navigate as you go along. 'Cause
Probably helps with like rejection too.
Oh, it helps with rejection. It helps with doing really well and then having a really hard time and doing really well. It's a seasonal thing, but that moral compass and that truth within yourself is really what kind of guides you along the way.
So speaking of unstoppable, and just to add on to everything else you just said, what do you feel was your breakthrough moment as an actress, as a model, just as like Meagan Good? Because there's like Meagan Good the actress, and then you do like your magazine covers and stuff, and then like we have all these different layers to it. What was your breakthrough moment as like Meagan Good? When did you know like, oh wow, this is like really happening?
But there was a few different ones that, and I honestly feel like I haven't like experienced them all yet, But one of them was getting Eve's Bayou. I was 14 and I had been in the business since I was 4, and I had been trying to like get a part where I actually had lines and like and then it's like when I got my first little lines, and like Friday I had like 2 lines, and I was like girl number 2, but it was like
Moving on up.
I would like and moving on up. That's true. Talking about start from the bottom. But literally it was like I wanted to just show people like I'm a dramatic actress. I can do things that are like deeper and heavy even for my age, and so that was like a breakthrough moment for me when I finally got that part. And then I think like my first magazine cover, it was like
Which was?
Come on, I think I know what it was.
I think it was Black Women.
Was it King?
I thought it was King.
No, I did Black Women before that. Didn't I?
The cover though?
I did a cover for them.
She gonna go back in there.
But yeah, the first cover, it was just like, oh my God, I'm on the cover of a magazine. And like, it's just the coolest, like, most amazing experience, It's like bucket list. And then, like now I got my first figurine. Like that was like, wow,
Yes.
figurine. And it's
Shazam,
like,
she has a figure. She looks like that atomic.
yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But I think what's dope about what she's saying is that kind of in the industry, it's not just about one breakthrough, it's about many breakthroughs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And allowing yourself to enjoy each process.
You said
each
like
moment.
a bucket list. That bucket list probably grows.
Yeah, every time you accomplish something,
Yeah.
you have something new you want to accomplish.
Do you feel you have to like reinvent yourself too with the breakthroughs? Because it could be like, oh, I just wanted to like get to this level, and then you get to that level and you're like, but all right, cool.
Yeah.
I can do so much more.
I agree, and I think like one of the things that people don't realize, like think for instance, someone who wins an Oscar, that is the hardest thing to find the right job after you've won an Oscar. How do you stay relevant? How do you
get the second Oscar?
How do you do something that's like how do you get the
How do
second
you top that?
or how do you have something that's quality with what people expect from you now?
Wow.
We feel
You know?
the
Think
same
about
way
that.
with the shows because it's like every show has to be better than the last
Yeah,
to some
right.
degree. So
Exactly.
it's like, how are we
And every
gonna
time we have a
outdo it?
really good
Constantly
show and
elevating.
everybody shows up and it's like the right amount of, we're
Yeah.
definitely like, okay, so now.
So it's the next one. Yeah, so how do we elevate to the next thing? And and I think that's it. You're elevating and you're reinventing to some degree the model of whatever you are, no pun intended, but kind of pun intended, is constantly evolving and elevating, you know.
That's great. So throughout your career, do you practice, or have you, let me start here, did you see yourself here?
I don't even know where here is, honestly.
Okay.
I just saw myself as a kid who wanted to act and do it for fun and enjoy myself doing it, and I wanted to be in big movies one day, but mostly scary movies. And
Yes, I can tell stories about her. Stuff around the house. No,
Yeah.
for real.
The Intruder?
Yeah. She practiced for that. I'd say roughly we started around like 6, 7.
Yeah.
She's been
She's
training.
rolling around, swear.
Yeah.
You guys don't even know. She was full on movies when it was just us in the house.
In the living room,
Promise you. And she'd be in the bathroom right here talking to herself. She's like, and that, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not. I'm like looking in the, like, what the hell is going on? She'd just be talking to herself in the mirror, doing her little roles.
So for
Yeah.
me, visualization works. Have you ever done anything like that, or like
Yeah.
really manifested, or?
Yeah, I think now, probably more in the last few years, I think I visualized myself as a superhero.
Nice.
And then I followed it up by doing the work. You know, I was like, okay, it's not here yet, but I believe in God that it's going to come. So here's the work. I'm going to get a trainer. I'm going to start learning Taekwondo. I'm going to start doing capoeira. I'm going to start conditioning my body to get in the best shape of my life. And I just started doing the work. And then a year and a half later, I got
Are
that
you
part.
like the only female superhero of color today?
No, Tessa Thompson
Okay.
was in
Storm.
Halle Berry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I am I the first one in DC? I might be.
I think you might.
I might be.
For DC.
Fact check.
Yeah. Fact check, guys.
Don't get back to you on that.
That's funny. Okay, so tell us about your audition process, Megan. Do you still have to audition, or is it just like you kind of walk in and they're like, "Oh my God, we know who this is. We love her. She's amazing."
Both. Sometimes it's like certain people, they're like, oh, we want to see Meagan, and you know, they're happy to see me. I've been seeing them for years, and they're rooting for me to get the part. And sometimes I don't even audition. I just go in there and talk to the director or whatever. And then other times it's like, yeah, we're familiar with her work. Or yeah, we like her, but we don't know if she can do this. We've never seen her do that. Or I don't really know who she is. I've maybe seen her before. I don't, you know. So it's every situation is different. So for me, I try. One of my number one rules is never believe your own hype. And it's important because you want to keep your humility. You want to check in with yourself and make sure you're not playing yourself by thinking of yourself higher than you should have.
We got a lot of people out here playing themselves.
Yeah, and so it's like, listen. And I think when you do that, what happens is that your identity becomes what you do, and then you have no identity outside of that. And so then when you're not able to do what you want to do in certain seasons or at the capacity that you want to do it, then you have no sense of self. And then that's when people get depressed and start doing drugs and drinking and whatever else. So for me, I walk into every room like it's my first opportunity, like a fresh face coming in there, you know, hoping to get this. I do every bit of work. I don't cut corners. I don't come in there with any type of, well, I've been in the business for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do none of that. I come in there humble and appreciative for the opportunity and do the best I can to get the job.
And it's funny because now that you direct, you're on both sides of the camera, so you're in casting sessions as well.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like a 2-part question. Because what are some major no-nos for people when they come into casting sessions?
Right.
Have you learned to not do those no-nos in your auditions?
Yeah.
Have you learned from these auditions?
Yeah, well, one of them is, and this goes for across the board, don't come in with a bunch of makeup. I didn't know that. Like when I was younger, I used to go in. I like the I used to go with like a face full of makeup, and like sometimes they would tell my manager like, why does she have so much makeup on? She's like 26, like what is she doing, you know? And I didn't think it was that much, but evidently they did. So one is, you know, come in like natural, put your like purest version of yourself forth with considering the character, but also like, you know, let them see you as you know, and then be prepared, know your lines, always be off book. Even if you hold the paper in your hand, know the lines front to back so that when they're throwing stuff at you or giving you notes or whatever, you can adjust quickly. And don't get freaked out when you mess up, just start over.
So it's a no-no to go, oh my God, okay, wait, can I just start over? Can I start? That's a no-no?
Yeah, well, and I've had moments like that though, where I couldn't get it together, and I was just like, I'm doing the lines, and then I was like, I'm sorry, can I start over? Which wasn't a big deal, but then I got in my head about the I'm sorry, can I start over? And then it was 3 I'm sorry, can I start overs afterwards.
Can you do one more?
And then legit, when she was like, no, honey, I think we got it, I started crying and I and then I went in my car and legit cried for like half an hour because I was so embarrassed.
It's so sad because there's so much pressure, and it's funny being on the other side in the casting room, because you're looking and we're just people, just like they're just people. When you're on the other side, I just be feeling so bad because I know the anxiety and the energy and the like anxiousness that goes into you're sitting in front of these people. You want a job, you want to do what you love. And it's so funny because it did put a new perspective for me, on the audition process.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they don't give you the job. God gives you the job. Exactly. All you got to do is go in there and do the best you can do and try your best to be comfortable and be a normal human being, and then just go into your craft and do what you've been gifted to do.
Right.
That took me a long time to learn. I honestly just stopped auditioning like in the last 2 years with the intent of like, I got to get this job. I started going in like, I'm just going to go in there and do the best that I can do with this character, and if they want me, they want me, and I just took a lot of pressure off of myself that way.
So you'd say that is it 50% mental, 50% like physical preparation, or like how much of this mental plays into it, and how do you get into the right headspace?
Well, I think mental plays into it in a big way, because if you get in your head, you're starting to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
So learning how to not get in your head, or learning how to, if you get in your head, how do I pull myself out of that and remind myself like, it's not that serious, let's not go to this place, let's not fall. I just talk to myself.
Literally, I'm like, how do you do that?
So literally, if I'm in a room and I feel myself going off the edge, I'll tell them. I'll just be like, hold on 1 second, I'm gonna take a minute. And I'll take a minute, and there's the anxiety of like, they're looking at you, but I just choose. I'm like, this moment belongs to me. Yeah. I am in the room, I am controlling this room. This is my moment, I'm gonna take what I need to get myself there. And then I'm gonna start. I'll take off my shoes in an audition. I'll sit on the floor in an audition. I make the space mine so I can be as comfortable as I can be. And that, but I do think it, with the physical part, it is doing the work and the preparation, like doing the studying, knowing the lines, dressing like the character as much as possible, all of that stuff. And then once you get in the room, that's when it becomes mental, because nobody ever does their best work in an audition, because you're literally like, I hope I get the job.
Right. A little,
but as close as you can get there. Yeah.
But that's a good tip for models coming on the runway, because it's like you have to make that space yours. No matter what happens. We've had some funny things happen on the runway, and it's like you really have to get into that headspace and just say, you know what, I'm just gonna own it.
I'm gonna walk. Girls cry in the back, like not to air their laundry, but like boyfriends break up with their moms don't show up. Like life happens.
Yeah, it
and
does.
You just gotta be able to
find their space,
tune it out, and channel it out. So speaking of that, how do you tune out like the noise, like the haters, the fashion police, the IG comments?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm at work. And partially it's because I started so young, but when it comes down to me being where I need to be and knowing my lines and being a pleasant person and giving people a pleasant experience working with me, anything else.
That was key right there.
Yeah.
Yes, please say that again.
For being a pleasant person and giving people a pleasant experience working with me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is a day in your life you will never get back. This is time in your life you will never get back. And you want to enjoy every day, and you want it to be a positive experience for you and the people around you. And when it's not that, people will walk away and talk about you. They'll say you have a bad attitude, that you're stuck up, that, any of those things. And when people hear that kind of stuff, they don't want to work with you. Word does travel, and people do take that word seriously, especially like when you're super late, people start talking about you, and then it's like, that person's not reliable.
This is so needed, because we try to tell our models this all the time with the fashion shows and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so important, making the experience with your clients, with the people who are hiring you, just the people around you. It means almost more sometimes than just the talent in that moment.
Yeah, because somebody can come in there that's beautiful, that rips the runway, that does everything right, and someone can come in there that's beautiful, but maybe someone else considers this person more beautiful, who's still working on their walk or whatever it is, and at the end of the day, they're going to hire this person if they're a more pleasant person, a more enjoyable person, someone who
Moldable.
humble, who makes the environment positive. Because the other person, they'll work, but they're not going to work as much, and they're not going to work long term. Because also, let's remember, as women, we do have a stamp for
certain
shelf life, and not in general, like not for everything, but for something.
this industry, though.
For this industry, sometimes, yeah. And so, you start acting ugly, and you're gonna be ugly.
Yeah, just like
And that's real life, you know. And it's you know, at the end of the day, when people can discard you, they will. Unless they're like, I want to do something for her. I want to make this work for her. I want to see how I can help her with something else. People remember that. And the person that's, you know, the person who's like, oh, telling you to come get the stage, just remember that 5 years from now, that person's going to be the director. That person's going to be the producer. And they will remember exactly how you treated them.
Yeah.
So.
If you're a new model looking to take your career and portfolio to the next level, visit the Model Experience.